WSUM.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. You're listening to On Wisconsin on WSUM Radio. I'm Stephanie, here with my co-host, Sarah.
What up?
And we also have the wonderful Alejandro helping us out on the soundboard today.
Buenos dias, Madison.
Now we have another guest. Her name is Jessica Bland, and she is a student at the University of Leeds in England, and she's here studying abroad. So we want to just talk to her about her experience. You might also recognize her from the WSUM Weekly News on Thursdays at 6. So thank you, Jessica, for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me. It feels weird being a guest, but I'm liking it so far.
Yeah. Usually, you deal with us weird people when we come to talk cultural things, and the tables have turned.
And it's so serious normally, but hey, this is great. We can laugh and smile.
And play the jump around.
And play the jump around, which you cut off at the same time that they usually cut off in the stadium. So that's usually when everyone takes their breath and they're like, oh, thank goodness, it's over.
I'm usually the guy that cuts it off, so that's why I know
I
that.
bet.
Yeah.
Are you really? I did not know.
Wow.
When we do go to other stadiums, though, and they play it just for us, and then they keep playing it, and we're like, we're not used to jumping this long. Keep jumping.
Endurance. It does. It's a workout.
But so good job.
You can't stop jumping because then it's embarrassing. That's
right.
It's a rule.
Yeah. No, and then people will yell in the band, especially people yell, "You keep jumping!"
Wow.
It's okay. How did you like your first jump around? I guess we can start there.
I had a camcorder in one hand and the other arm in the air. I only went to one game as well, and I was conscious that I might not be able to get tickets again, so I was just wanting to capture it all to show everyone at home because it's absolutely mental. I'd seen YouTube videos of the jump around before, but college sport in general is just not a thing for us. So to see a stadium full like that was, absolutely crazy. So
yeah, you have soccer.
Yes, we do. And even at that, though, you wouldn't go and watch your college team at all. I think maybe the parents of the players would go, and that's about it. So
it's football, Sarah. It's football.
Yeah, it's football.
I was just differentiating it for the listeners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
purely for listeners. So you got here in August?
Yes, mid-August I came here.
So why, we ask everyone this, but for you especially, from across the pond, why UW-Madison?
I think, so from the age of about 14, I knew I wanted to come to America for sure, just to study for a year, and I think I had about a choice of about 20 different schools. I wanted to go somewhere that I probably wouldn't go as a tourist, so I'd already been to the West Coast, and I would quite like to work maybe in the East Coast. I'm doing journalism, so that'd be kind of my area probably. And my dad used to work in Milwaukee, so he was a big fan of this area. So yeah, it was one of the best schools, especially for journalism, for what I was looking to do, and the fact that there seemed to be so much college pride, which was really cool, and just everyone seemed, just like review-wise, and people that had been here before that I heard from and spoke to, so it's just a great atmosphere and group of people here. So yeah, it's also a similar sized town to my hometown, so I guess I thought the feel of it would be quite nice, and the fact that it's pretty on the lake, but also there's enough to do, and and it has worked out perfectly. How I thought it would be is exactly how it is, if not better. So yeah.
How does because you mentioned the spirit here, how does our craziness compare to Leeds? Because I feel like everyone here, whether you're a Badger or not, are like, Badgers, and go Badgers.
Right. Yeah, and with that, the first thing I noticed was just how everyone wears red or Badger branded clothes, which is crazy. I think maybe a couple of my friends and me have the Leeds University hoodies at home, and that's about as far as you go. And maybe if you're on the sports team, you'd wear something, but just no. And no one would wear something like a ridiculous mascot on your chest, that's just crazy. So just the fact that everyone's just not ashamed, and they just want to boast about the fact they go here, and I just really love that. It's very different to home. It's not as much, I think also because just sport isn't a big thing, there's not as much rivalry between the different schools. So I think here people and you're paying a lot more, so you probably get really invested in whatever school you go to, I guess.
We wear that fuzzy rodent with pride.
You really do. It's impressive.
We do love our Badgers. So did you, when you came here, were you expecting it to be that way? Were you expecting to see that, college pride? Or did it kind of catch you off guard?
My view was probably very like Hollywood movie. So I think I thought that there would be a lot of hype, but I wasn't sure how much of that was just like what I'd seen in the media and like what actually would be the realisticness of that. But yes, I think it did surprise me. But I think in general, just Americans and their exaggerated and excitable personalities kind of goes with that. So in other respect, it wasn't that surprising, I guess, considering you guys as a very vibrant culture.
Defined exaggerated. What is that supposed to mean? I feel there was a little bit of British innuendo under that word.
We're just we're very good in Britain at keeping our feelings to ourselves, and yes, a stiff upper lip. And it's not even about politeness. It's just that we just don't express so freely, I think, which I don't like. But so that's a great thing about here.
Then you fit in perfectly.
Yes.
That's the truth. I'm curious. You said, you'd seen things about America in the media. Coming here, would you say that those things that you saw in the media, are they accurate? Or I'm just curious.
I guess obviously they're exaggerated, but like the roots of what I've seen here. I guess just things like the red plastic cups and stuff like that I'm just like, we're just like, wow. And then I come here, and at my first party I went to and I held one, I was just like, this is crazy. Things like that. I guess I didn't know how much that I'd actually like see. I don't know what else. I think, I don't know, my media also, the really bad thing is the media that I did watch, the TV shows I did watch at home would be like ridiculous things like The Hills or like so I don't think I was getting the most accurate, but I don't know.
Then how have you enjoyed our wonderful Midwestern accent here compared? It's very different from the East and West Coast.
Right.
We get really excited there, and then it just comes out.
I haven't heard, you do a really funny voice sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like, so where I come from in England as well, it's kind of the neutral accent, and I feel like that's the same here in Wisconsin. That's what I've heard, and I've heard people from here with them being news reporters because they've got this very like clear voice, and so I can't make fun of it. I can't do it because I can't like pick out what's different about it. So I find that kind of hard. But I guess before I came here, I was just very exposed to the West Coast and or the East, I guess, accent. So
before you leave, we need to give you a dictionary of how to pronounce Wisconsin words.
Yes, I can't even say Wisconsin the right way, so
it's all in the vowels.
It's a tricky word to say if you think about it.
Well, and even in Wisconsin, in different parts there, some are like in the middle of the state, and like the most northern part of the state is very exaggerated. But then so is Milwaukee. That's when I get excited, my Milwaukee comes out, and it's embarrassing. People think I'm like from Canada.
Oh yes, I've gotten that before.
Yeah,
from Canada.
Like that's an insult. I love that you guys. Canada jokes are great.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Right
So,
there.
What is your favorite American joke? Can you tell us a British joke about Americans?
I haven't got one. I don't know any jokes. I literally know one joke.
Tell us.
Yeah,
It's nothing to do with Americans. All right. There was a couple in a supermarket wrapped up in a barcode, and this guy goes over to them and says, "Hey, are you two an item?" Yay! And it's not even a good one. I just know
Very
that.
dry.
Yeah, we just do sarcasm. That's our humor. So
Do you do sarcasm?
yeah, I get in trouble for that as well, because we do like to just keep a very straight face and make our jokes, and some people haven't quite understood that.
I don't know how England will accept me when I'm there next year.
Why?
They'll just reject me for my Midwestern spirit, and I show my emotions, very clearly.
You're potentially going to London, so there'll be a lot of crazy people in London. You'll fit in fine. There'll also be a lot of people from many different places. It's not just like everyone will be locals, because in London everyone's from somewhere else.
So you agree I'm crazy?
I would say so. Yes.
I think I've succeeded then.
There you have it. So I'm curious, what made you decide to study abroad here for a year versus just coming to the University of Wisconsin for, say, 4 years?
I think cost is probably a big thing. It's heavily subsidized to do the 1 year study abroad program. So that was an opportunity I wouldn't have been able to, if I'd have done the 4 years would never really crossed my mind. I think Also because my degree I do at home is very specific. I study broadcast journalism and do that solid for 3 years, which isn't really a thing I could do here. And also then wanting to work for a British broadcasting company, well, BBC hopefully, I would want that rooted in like UK study as opposed to then like learning how to do news in America, and then it wouldn't really work to translate for a completely different media market. So that's kind of a detailed description, but I guess that was my thinking, and I think I knew I wanted to be a journalist from quite a young age, so that kind of filtered through my dream of coming here. Yeah.
When you do anchor our Thursday night evening news, you were also involved in the radio at Leeds, correct?
Yes. I was the head of news for the radio station back at home, and yeah, that was a pretty demanding role, but it was fun. And it's great to get involved in student organizations like that, I think, and you get to do really cool stuff that otherwise, like if you're looking in the professional, you'd never get like the kind of opportunity to do those kind of things, and the freedom to be creative, which I love. So yeah.
I mean, how does that compare working at the two different radio stations? I mean, how would you compare WSUM to the one in Leeds?
The great thing about this one is that it actually goes out on a frequency, whereas in the UK any of the student radios only go online, so you actually have a much bigger audience, I guess through that. So it's kind
I
of
thought
cool.
all radio station was pirate radio in Great Britain, except for the BBC.
Right. Well, pretty much. No. So yeah,
Was that sarcasm?
Yeah, that was sarcasm. Sorry. Should I highlight it every time I do it? Okay. Yeah, so I guess maybe you take it a bit more seriously here. I don't know. It's just hard to be as motivated, I guess, when you think, oh, we might have 10 listeners today for our show or something. So I guess that's different. But I think in terms of like how the studio seems to operate here, apart from the fact you have some paid staff, I think we didn't have that. We had a similar kind of leadership team and things. So I think it's fairly similar.
We're going to take another short break here, so we'll be back after this.
Hello and welcome back. You're listening to On Wisconsin on WSUM Radio. I'm Stephanie, here with my co-host Sarah and Alejandro on the soundboard, and we have Jessica Bland who is speaking with us. So Jessica, can you tell me, I'm curious, what made you, or you go to school at University of Leeds in England, what made you decide to go there?
There's not many places that do broadcast journalism specifically as a degree in the country, and it was the best for that really, and so I just ended up, I was really bad in that you're supposed to apply for 5 different schools, and I was like, I'm gonna go to this one or nothing. So luckily that worked out, otherwise I'd be in a very different place right now. But it's a big school. It's the 5th biggest in the country, which is still smaller than here. I think there's only 32,000 students. So there's a lot going on, and the town and the city in general, there's actually about 4 different universities within that city. So I think the student population is like something ridiculous, like 300,000 or something. So there's a lot going on. It's really good for music, which I enjoy a lot, and just loads of activities, and it's just a nice kind of bustly environment. It's also 3.5 hours away from my home, 3 hours. So I kind of wanted that independence and to properly like leave home and experience somewhere different. So
you said you're interested in music. I'm curious, do you play instruments, and if so, what instruments?
Yeah, I started off playing the piano, which I ditched as soon as my parents would allow. Still did it for 7 years, unfortunately. They had their way for long enough. But that led into me then. I play the flute and the guitar. So I guess it was a good base for that. But
Whole wide array of instruments.
I like to just try stuff. My sister plays the drums, which I'm totally jealous of, and so I say that I play the drums just because she teaches me, but I'm not half as good as her. I wish I was, because that's the coolest thing ever, I think.
See, my brother plays the drums, and it's just loud. So
Yes, our house we have a music room, and it's not a great place to be if you've got a headache, because my dad also plays the guitar, my mum sings, and we have a little family band, but it gets pretty crazy, so the neighbours probably hate us for that. But
So coming over here, what was the transit just with, British and American differences? Like, I feel like whenever we talk about the weather, we have no idea what the other person is saying. I don't understand Celsius. Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that was hard. There was some, I guess, there were more like words that I didn't realise that people just wouldn't understand, and people also were very polite and wouldn't say if they didn't understand me, and I could tell on their faces that like maybe I'd said something that, like saying where's the bin. I remember I said that my first week, and someone like took me to a really different place, and I was like, this is not the trash can. I realised I had to say trash can, and so I guess there was a few language things.
Where did they take you? I just need to know this.
They went to show me the bathroom. Yeah. So I guess,
Which isn't called a bathroom in England.
No, we would just say going to the toilet or
the loo.
No, I don't really know anyone says loo. I personally would just say with my friends, I'm going for a wee, which is something definitely probably not to be said here, but it's very casual. Yeah, we would say that at home. So yeah, I guess some language things. I don't think there was much of like a cultural adjustment really. I think maybe just the fact that I felt like I could be very like open and like say my opinion, and I don't know if that's just like the friendly people I've met here, or like if that's an accurate picture of the whole country, but yeah.
And you can wear sweatpants to class here.
Oh my goodness, yeah, fashion. When I first got here, obviously it was still really hot, and I wore dresses every day, because in England, if the sun's out, girls would wear dresses or skirts every day. And I remember counting on my way like to and from campus how many other people I saw wearing a dress or skirt, and there were 0, and all the girls were wearing shorts and t-shirts, and I was like, this is crazy. Like, I would only do that if I was like working at, like, people wear sweatpants to class and things like that. You would only do that at home if you were having like a breakdown, or people would associate it like, oh, bless her, she's obviously going through a hard time, or she must be very ill. And like, if I just appeared to my roommates in like a sweatpants and a hoodie, they'd just be really worried about me. So yeah, that's strange how that's acceptable here.
That's it. England's going to reject me.
Especially in London. Fashion is a big thing there. So yeah. I mean, you could probably pull it off and call it some kind of crazy fashion.
I'll just tell them I'm not well.
Yes.
And then
for the whole year.
That'll go over real well.
And then your visa gets revoked, and all of a sudden you're back here.
Oh dear.
That's not going to happen, guys.
So, I mean, do you like that it's kind of a more relaxed fashion? Or, I mean, when you go back, is it going to be kind of hard to readjust?
I'm worried that my humour has shifted a bit. So I'm worried about how, like, my friends, when I Skype them, sometimes I'm saying things and they're just like, oh, I don't know, I can't pinpoint it, but I'm worried that I'll get people thinking I have changed a bit. But I think, I will say my opinion more than I did before, which will be interesting to see how that goes down. But I think I'll probably fall back into the swing of English ways pretty quickly. But I think I'll miss it a lot, and I have really enjoyed the culture. So I think that's kind of confirmed for me that I would like to work in the future here, hopefully. Probably not Wisconsin specifically, just because of the jobs or lack of. So, but.
Well, and how many more years do you have left at Leeds?
I just have one more.
Okay.
After, yeah. It's all of our degrees at home are 3 years, unless you're doing masters on top. So this has just extended it for another year for me.
And you don't have to do stupid general requirements. Is that right?
That's true. Yeah, I haven't studied, like, for example, maths or science since I was 16.
But their high schools are better than ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think apparently. So, like, I did psychology for when I was 17 and 18, and so I think the level that I learned at that would be the level some people are learning now here, maybe as a sophomore, or so I guess maybe my knowledge is more specific to like the 4 subjects I studied between 17 and 18, but then it means that my maths and science is very rusty. But I think that was at a slightly higher level than when you were doing at that age. I don't really know how it works out, but I'm very thankful that I could then just pick what I wanted to do and ditch, because I really hated science, so that was good for me.
Yeah, that's nice that you don't have those general requirements. I mean,
Yeah.
Have you noticed any other kind of like structural changes, I mean, between classes here and classes at Leeds?
I think the assessment and the way classes work is pretty similar. I think maybe I found it fairly, I'm on a pass or fail year as well here, so I found it fairly like easy to do that. And for the first time I haven't had to, I always like try, and I'm a perfectionist, so I always try and get the highest grade I can, so it's kind of weird for me. And I don't know if because of that I felt like it's maybe a little bit easier in some of my classes, but I don't know if that's just because I've got this more like relaxed mentality about it. But I feel like that hasn't been hard at all to adjust to, because I think it's been pretty similar. Maybe lectures are quite a lot bigger for me because I only do broadcast journalism with broadcast journalist students. They're only classes of 50 for the lecture and then maybe 10 for a discussion, so that's a little bit different, because I've had lectures with like 200 people, which I haven't experienced before, so that's a bit different. But
Now, what about, did you have any friends from Leeds who are also studying abroad here? Or?
I think there was 9 of us in total that came from Leeds to here. The way the whole application process works is, I think there was like maybe 400 people apply to do a study abroad, and then you kind of rank which schools you'd like to go to in either Europe, America, or Australia. And then and everyone's from different schools. So I think there's one other girl from the communications department that I'm from in Leeds, but everyone else I didn't really know at all. So I think a few of them are living together, but I kind of just really wanted to make, nothing against them, but just make friends with Americans, and that's why I came here. So I deliberately chose to live in the dorms so that I had that, and
So it's a lot of new stuff for you.
Yes, definitely.
What's one of your favorite things from Madison thus far?
I like the snow a lot. I know it's crazy to say that considering how long it's been here for, and probably I'm saying it because also it's nice and sunny today, and like I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But it was so nice to have a white Christmas, because that's never a given for us. And actually this year at home it just flooded completely for the whole of winter. So I've enjoyed the weather, and it means I really appreciated the seasons more, whereas at home there's just like constant kind of rain and cloud throughout even in the summer. So I think I kind of like that a lot, and the fact that it is really pretty with the lake, and you can just walk on the lake, which is mental. I've never been able to do that before. Even on a pond I've never done that, let alone like this giant lake that you can just drive a car onto. So it's been pretty crazy.
Except now with the warm weather, we have snert. It's snow and dirt, and it's ugly.
I like that.
And
Snert.
yeah, it's like the sidewalk is just brown and gross looking. We're in that awkward stage where there's just puddles everywhere. But
how long would that last for?
Well, I don't know. It's still pretty.
Hopefully not long.
Because they've like frozen over, and then it's all, I don't even know how to describe it, but it just looks ugly.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll get over it.
But it's warm outside, so that makes me happy.
Yes.
All right, well, we're going to take another quick break. You're listening to On Wisconsin, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back. It's Sarah and Stephanie and Alejandro and Jessica Bland in the studio with us today. Alejandro, you had a good question for her.
Well, the first thing I have to declare is, have we decided that the quarter till is going to be the varsity time? Is that official now?
We can make it a thing.
Is that a non-Wisconsin thing now?
I think it's a good idea.
It goes with On Wisconsin.
There we go. Okay, well, my couple questions that I get to throw in here as the like lower part of this show is, can you please, for the sake of our listening audience, can you please give us your best American accent?
That's really unfair to put me on the spot like this, because I'm going to have to say yes for this audience.
We can give you bad British accents too.
Oh, that would be great. That would make me feel comfortable.
But we need to hear yours first.
Yes.
Okay. Apologies in advance, because all I do is like the West Coast, and it's bad.
SoCal
anyway.
girl.
Okay. Hey, I'm super excited to be here today. It's Jessie. I don't know what to say, but yeah.
Tell us
Awesome.
about America, Jessie.
Yeah, I've lived in America for like all my life, and I really like it here. I've been to England before, but it's super bad compared it falls apart. I'm sorry.
We don't want to break her either.
Are you ever afraid you're going to get stuck on that? Like,
No.
your British accent?
Maybe before, but I feel like the Wisconsin accent is now eventually having its effect, and it's making my California accent disappear. So thank you for that. Because I was good at it before, and it's going. But
It's going.
yes.
Now, you dabble in, my second question is, you dabble in acting a little bit, right? You're a little bit of an actress?
Well, I guess I've done a bit in the past. I haven't had as much time for it maybe in my later years. But yeah, I've done quite a lot of theatre performance mainly before. So
For our listening audience, the first time I met Jessica was actually at an audition, and I would play the monologue from that audition if it was appropriate for air, but it definitely is not.
It gave me goosebumps.
It
Oh,
is
that's
definitely
good.
chilling. She goes from BBC, very professional, official star power woman to scary. You like kill your husband in it or something like that. It was terrifying.
basically killed my husband and was attacked in my years before that, which it was pretty dark. But I did it for my drama class last semester, so that was why I did that.
Is that ever anything you want to pursue at all?
I think not. I think I wouldn't like to watch myself back on camera if I ever did that. And I think maybe theatre, because it's more like disposable, I guess. Like you do the performance, and then and I've done Shakespeare once before. I was Shylock.
You were Shylock?
I was Shylock, which is a bit of a random character to play. My character description was a fat male Jew, so that definitely sums me up. But yeah, I played it anyway, and I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
The opinions expressed by Jessica Bland do not reflect the views of WSUM, the University of Madison, Wisconsin, or its Board of Regents.
There was nothing against that
I know.
demographic. It was just the fact that it's not me. But yeah.
Well, I think you mentioned to me before, you were in a production of High School Musical.
Yeah, when I was maybe 16, I'm not sure. I was in a kind of, I live in Milton Keynes, so it was on the Milton Keynes theatre stage, and I was Taylor, which again is a character different to myself, but that was fun.
Did you do the American accent for that?
Yes, I did. So I actually annoyed my family and spoke in it for the 3 months leading up to the show. I spoke in that accent for the majority of the time, just to keep practicing it. So that was annoying for them. But
Is there a film recorded version of this?
my family would have a DVD copy of that, but I don't think
We need
it's
to get
online.
Miss Bland on the phone right now. Right now.
Don't, because she would show it to you as well. She really would.
Hey, I will be there in a year. I will knock on that door. Show me the
Oh dear,
American
that's
accent.
embarrassing. Yeah.
Now, refresh my memory. I've seen High School Musical, but it's been a while. Which character was Taylor?
She was the black girl. She was the nerd.
Okay.
The best friend of
Gabrielle.
Okay. Yes. That one.
So how do you prep yourself for like getting into a different persona, especially when you have to do an entirely different accent?
I think it was kind of easier that it was so different to me, and I could like, I guess with that example as well, like knowing the films, it kind of embarrassingly knowing the films, but yeah, it helped to imagine what she was thinking. I was also a nerd in everyday life, so it kind of helped to then get into the character that she was. Yeah, I don't know. I think just because it was so different, it was kind of easy to just adopt that persona. Well,
That's a cool way to put it. It was so different that it was easier almost than
Yeah.
like a role that's similar.
Yeah, because then I think you worry, I don't know, for me at least, you worry that then people think that you're being yourself in something, and then I would be like, oh, maybe they're, I don't know, I think I'm probably more worried about them judging me for that, so it's kind of easy that they know, oh, that's nothing like Jessica, so that's fine, we know she's not like mixing her personality and the characters at all. It's kind of easier to keep the two separate for me. I think that's what I found anyway. But.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Wisconsin. And thank you to Jim and Carson from VETS for joining us as well. You're listening to WSUM 91.7 FM.